All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Today we are going live with the product demo, and this is all about introducing you to a tool that really aims to make life easier for you as you do the instrumental work that you do in your respective states. So, I have an agenda here, which will start with introductions. I'll introduce you to the team. We'll go next to the product demo, create space for you all to ask questions, and then we'll wrap up by 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Now it's time for the icebreaker. All right, so instructions for your icebreaker, what you're gonna do. This is a mentee moment, as we call it internally at Dream. You take your phone, scan the QR code, and then you'll be prompted to put in a code which you see on the screen, 2751-8057.
Give it a minute. If you're having any trouble, you can also just go to that web page and enter that code, like Kashif said. The QR code makes it handy.
Yep, and by hitting that thumbs up button, that lets us know that you are in there.
Move forward.
All right, I'll read the question. So, what is the single most crucial thing that would help you do your job easier? Say that one more time. What is the single most crucial thing that would help you to do your job easier? And we're especially thinking about the advocacy and campaign work that you all do. All right, we got some coming in. Money. Oh yeah, there we go. It listed. More hands to take on some of the small tasks. More capacity. Better organization and communication. More staff. I'm seeing a theme between capacity, resources, resources, data collection, research, quick access to information, resources again, communication, communication. See some threads here. Better prioritization, seamless stream of resources, assistance support, access to decision makers.
Mm.
That's a good one. Bigger reach. Awesome. So there's certainly
Excellent.
some themes.
Then one more question for y'all.
All right. So do you use ChatGPT or a similar tool? What do you think about it? Letting the answers roll in. Okay. So far, I say overwhelmingly yes. And I think part of what we'll get into later on regarding that no, and there could be other no's. The group here, the 51 AI team, has certainly been thinking about reasons related to why people would not want to use that technology. So looking forward to to the conversation to come. So things that I'm seeing is basically yes, and it sounds like it looks like a direct correlation to some of the challenges that were named earlier. Research, saving time, analysis. But it seems like many people find it helpful. Awesome, awesome. Well, glad to have kicked that off with you, get some insights, some quick feedback about the work that you do. Now, more formally, I'll jump into this introduction. Again, my name is Kashif Wizard. I lead our tech and innovation team, and I really have the honor of doing this work, especially at the intersection of critical areas that we care so much about, environmental justice and criminal justice reform. So whether you're joining from the front lines of advocacy, organizing, or system navigation, you are the reason why we're here today. This session is to exchange, excuse me, Siri. This session is an exclusive opportunity for the Empathy Network leaders, Dream staff, and partners to experience something we believe will transform how you do the work that you do. As you know, Dream exists to close prisons and open doors of opportunity into the green economy. And that's not rhetoric. It's a change. I'm sorry, my words are too small. It's a charge that calls us to constantly innovate, experiment, and co-create for future justice. Tonight, you'll be introduced to the 51 AI team, as you see here on the screen. Wow, one of the team members. And you'll be introduced to a tool built for people like you and increasingly with people like you. The app is still in early stages, but its purpose is clear, and that's to save time, scale your impact, and help you serve people with less friction. So, I've already mentioned one of my team members, or one of the critical team members for 51 AI, which is Wow. And also, I'd like to introduce Harrison, who's the Director of Organizing and Membership for Dream.org. Together with the 51 AI team, we're committing to building tools that meet needs of our community. And we're grateful to have you shaping what that becomes. As we get started, this is way too small. As we get started, we'd love for you to answer the prompts that appear on your screen. And we'll take a moment to hear your feedback and responses throughout the demo. With that, I'll turn it over to Wow, who will walk us through the story, the features, and the future of 51 AI.
Thank you. Thank you for that very thorough and kind introduction. Hello, everyone, Empathy Network. I'm very, very, very excited for today. I won't lie to you. It's been a long time waiting for this day to come to actually talk to you because all this work doesn't matter without you. It's for you at the end of the day. And you are all going to help us build this better to help you and help other people on here. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to kind of go through a little bit of background, maybe 5-10 minutes on how we got here, then go through a demo. It'll take us about 15 minutes. And the rest of the time, let's make it interactive. If you have questions, ask me, jump in, be brutally honest. You don't have to be nice about anything. We want to make this the best thing it can be. So feel free to be candid. And I also just want to highlight Justin Moore, who's our Chief Justice Officer, is also a huge part of the team, and he's on the call as well. So you'll get to hear from him in a couple of minutes too. So let me share my screen. All right. So as I mentioned, we'll go through the history of it, give some context of why we even built this, talk about your role in this, jump in, see it in action, and then do a little bit of Q&A. So does anyone know what 51 AI stands for? Why 51? Or does anyone want to guess? can just come off the mic and just guess or drop it in the chat. One guess, someone guess, anyone.
50 states, one AI.
All right, let's wait. Exactly, 51 states, everyone counts in advocacy. Any other guesses? All right, 51%, a symbolic tipping point for when we start to see change happen. Does anyone want to guess what the AI is for? Okay, y'all think you know, right?
Artificial intelligence.
Almost. Advocacy intelligence. And there's a very purposeful reason why it's not artificial. It's because it's built for purpose, not for a general task, specifically for this. And the human element is important in advocacy work. It doesn't exist without it. So that's the context behind the name. I'm Noel, the CEO. This is our team. Noel is a very well-known, highly respected, and amazing thought leader in AI. She's helping us make it responsible. Justin Moore, I'll let you introduce yourself. And Ibrahim is also on this call, who I failed to mention earlier. Sorry, Ibrahim, but he's our Chief Operations Officer. So Justin, maybe you want to talk a little bit about your role and introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? I'll keep it brief because we have an incredible tool that we need to spend the majority of the time breaking down and explaining to you. But I'm Justin Moore. I'm a civil rights attorney. I'm based in Texas, but I practice internationally. I had a chance to meet Weil a few years back. We actually took a pilgrimage to Selma. It was a civil rights pilgrimage, and I joined Weil's first iteration of a justice tech company called Rights. We became fast friends. Met Ibrahim. We also became fast friends. We stayed connected. We did a plethora of incubator contests, one of which was sponsored by Dream. And we stayed in contact with Dream, obviously. And as AI became to be more usable and accessible for folks from a consumer perspective, Weil and I started talking about how can we, use AI to scale justice in a way that's meaningful and that can help folks in mass. And this is what we came up with. 51 AI is a tool that I think can encompass everything that we fight about that is reflective in this group. And I think it can start unlocking, a lot of potential, not only for ourselves, but for the people that we serve. So yeah, it's an honor and a privilege to be on this call, and hopefully you guys find this tool to be something that is great and something that you can use in your own organizations.
Thank you, Justin. And again, I can't express how lucky we are to work with Justin, Ibrahim, and Noel. And the cherry on top, of course, is having the support of Dream. And to their credit, when this idea first popped up, Dream was very, very proactive in this. And this idea came before even ChatGPT existed, when we first started talking about it. So it was very forward-looking, and we're very grateful for the partnership. So some little context about how we think about the problem we're trying to solve. One thing that we always keep in the back of the mind, and I'm sure most of you already know this, but just as a refresher, is justice advocacy has a math problem. That problem is injustice can happen very quickly. It can happen over and over again, and it can happen anywhere. It doesn't have a specific geography. But then on the other side, when you want to correct that injustice, it's very difficult. The processes are slow, it's expensive, it's complicated. So the pace of injustice to justice is always going to have a gap. Our thoughts were, what can we do to accelerate and scale advocacy to address this issue? So when we researched, hey, can we even use artificial intelligence for this? The good news is actually advocacy work is a perfect use case, because a lot of the work that needs to be done is tedious, repetitive, and some of it is risky. And what AI is really good at there's 4 Ds. So the first D is dear work. Work that's dear to you should remain human. That's the advocacy work. You want to maximize the time that you do the dear work. But the dirty work, the dull work, and the dangerous work, let AI take care of that. So you have more time to do the work of actually getting results versus just grinding in the background. So that was our main premise. How can we take these tasks and help people do them better, faster, and at larger scale? And these are some of the early use cases that we came up with based on conversations with different stakeholders, creating playbooks, providing guidance on how to help people, monitoring trends, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to jump in the demo and show you what's been the result of this. When you're in the demo and when you get access to this, you'll notice some labels. So if you see the beta label, these means these are features we're working on. We're ready to show you them. It probably still has bugs. It's not fully functional, but you could test it, play around with it, and give us your feedback on it. If you see experimental, those are things that it's a concept. We think it's a good idea. We don't know. We're experimenting with it. So they're probably less stable than the beta. The whole goal of this is to get your hands on it. You give us feedback. In a week or two, some of those beta features get their first release. And some of those that are experimental graduate to become a beta feature. So that's what those 2 labels mean. All right, let me get to the demo screen. Y'all can see the dashboard. All right. So the way this is designed is on the left-hand side, you have different tools that you could use. Some of them are very narrow and task specific, like if you look at clemency or expungement or FOIA. Some of them, like policy analysis or smart forms, have larger use cases. On the right-hand side, where you see 51 AI, this is your assistant. So instead of you having to jump into ChatGPT, as you're working, you have questions, you need guidance on how to use the tool. This tool will answer those questions, and we're teaching it how to think like an advocate. And the model it's built on, it's a narrow model, so we choose what sources it has access to. So we try to weed out sources that we think will give you bad information. So let's jump into an example of using it. Let's say you wanted to create a form, a petition, a questionnaire, a poll, and you need to do this really quickly. So I'm gonna go create new form. Skip the tutorial here. And I'm gonna go generate with AI. So I'm gonna show you 2 ways you could do this. I'm just gonna write something very general. I want to learn about people's views on using AI for justice and justice tech. So the model is designed to understand best practices, so it's not writing questions with bias or leading people to try and build a form that's balanced for you. So now I could see it's generated these questions, which I can reorder, edit. I can add questions to it. I'm going to preview the form here. It's created this drop down. And I can publish this. So that was from an open prompt. I wasn't very specific on what I wanted and generated. So we're going to do one more form. Go back. All right. Can generate with AI. And here's a prompt I prepared earlier that's more detailed. And I just want to show you, you can be as detailed as you want and it'll understand the context. So for this one, it says, generate a short form to be used during a live demo call for 51 AI. The goal is to gather insights from attendees on the following: whether they're affiliated with Dream, how often they use the platform, Are they excited? Make the form concise, use a mix of multiple choice and open-ended questions. So I hit generate. All right, again, here, it's made our form. So I don't have a lot of time. I actually want you all to use it. If I want to brand it, I can go here. Let's add a dream logo on it. So it looks a little personal. Save it. I'm gonna click publish the form. All right, let's see if it actually works. If you all could scan the QR code, and then let's just take 2 minutes to, or a minute to answer the questions. And I hope it works. I don't have the curse of the live demo. All right. So I'm just gonna put 60 seconds on my stopwatch and then we can move on. All right. And if it didn't work for anyone, just drop in the chat so I know it didn't work for you. So as you're answering in real time, it's showing me that 12 people have answered already. If I refresh it, I see there's 15 now. All right, that's our 1 minute. So let's see how many people we got. So we got 16 responses and counting in this 1 minute. And based on the responses, it's telling me, giving me some insights. Investigate why Never is underperforming. Obviously, everyone's heard of the platform. That's why Never's not there. But it's showing me some trends and general information about the form. So I can quickly kind of scan it. And these insights will program them to get better over time. But the tool I really like is right here where you can chat with your data. So I can say, what are the key themes in the responses? Oops. And so here it's giving me some insights. Respondents are excited about the ease of creating specific documents and using 51 AI. One response specifically highlights scaling justice as a point of excitement. While there's notable excitement, some respondents express restraint and reserve judgment. So very quickly, you can create a form or a poll either on the spot if you're out and something's happening in real time, or if you just want to use this for a longer term tool. The other thing you could do with this, and I'll share this for our next demo, but this reply logic, let's say I wanted, when you give an answer, I wanted it to generate a customized reply for you. So think about if you were telling someone, hey, please report abuse in prisons, and then you wanted to provide guidance for them on how to address what's happened to them specific to their state. So I'm going to do a very generic one for now, but please generate a response based on the answers to address their concerns and provide resources. By the way, I'm very bad at typing and spelling. So this is why I use AI to self-check myself. All right. So now I'm going to click generate. And now it's created this response template that you can customize. Well, I'll show you what a response might look like. So this is the template, but if someone actually had a real, if we were using this, it would fill in all this with dynamic information. So wherever it says has brackets, that's information it would have generated specific to your response. So anyhow, you'll be able to play around with this. So I just wanted to preview this real quickly. So that's the form tool in a nutshell, the smart forms. Next, I'm going to show you the policy analysis tool. So let's say I wanted to analyze or learn about the First Step Act. So you could put a general term, or you could enter a URL, or you could paste the content of a specific bill. So I'm just going to do one with a general search. It's giving me some results of things I might want to look regarding this. I see this first step up here. I'm going to do that one. And now it's going through that and trying to summarize it so I can understand it quickly and easily. So now it's giving me a result. So this top part where it says executive summary, it's trying to summarize it so you can understand the overview in just about 10 seconds. And then here's this even more simplified explanation that's in very lay terms. Lawmakers in Congress are working on new laws, holding hearings, and reviewing how the First Step Act works. Their goal is to improve criminal justice systems, make sure people in prison are treated fairly, and help them successfully rejoin society. And then it'll go on to give you a more nuanced overview. And then if you click analysis, it's breaking down the key provisions. So these are the key things: expansion of earned time credits, sentencing reform amendments, rehabilitation, reentry support, congressional oversight hearings. And then this expected impact is just to really simplify, like, okay, what's this going to do? Right? So this rehabilitation, reentry, improve chances for successful reentry into society. So again, just simplifying the whole process. And then this power map is kind of designed to show you who's supporting or opposing it, and which of those parties have high influence or low influence. So then I can come and highlight these and kind of learn a little bit more. And you could see their motivation. Like, criminal justice reform advocates see it as a step towards a fairer, humane system. Some victim rights organizations concerned about early release of offenders. Right, so it's breaking it down for me. Here is kind of just telling me about the stakeholders' motivations. And then if I wanted to learn even more, I click this, and it's going to start searching for news articles. So it's found me 60 articles, but as you can see, it was not very accurate because this one's about the movie Fantastic Four. So still refining it. But in theory, it'll organize it between ones that are left, center, and right. And then you'd be able to click and read the article. But this didn't do the best job, but it will. Yeah, and then the final step is we're working on it using the analysis to create recommended actions depending on whether you support or oppose this bill. So if I say I support it, it'll generate an action for me, and then I can add it to my to-do list to think about doing. And like this one's telling me, track publicly reported racial and demographic impacts, and it's having a shortcut here, so it'll create the form for me as well. Right. If I'm going too fast, apologies. I'm just trying to fit a lot in, but we'll have multiple of these. So these right here are ones that are further along. Everything else here is experimental. Well, some of them are more further along than others. So I'm going to jump to this clemency tool. This is designed to help people that are helping people apply for clemency, pardons, things like that. And it's basically designed so before you even need to talk to a lawyer or spend money, that you could do a lot of the process. Or if you're an organization, you don't have to have a paralegal doing this. You can do the first, second, and third part of it on your own. So I'm going to show you one part of it. Let me just choose a random name. Nate Smith. Right. And so now it's asking me to add any convictions I have. I can choose a category here. So let's say drug related, possession, and let's choose a date. Let's say this happened 2018. Go 2018. Let's say, or 19. It's 19. So this is when I was released, and then the type of sentence you got. So let's say they got imprisonment, 1 year with parole. Where'd this happen? Florida, Orlando. Click this, and I save it. So a big part of the clemency's case is also getting a character reference. So we want to make this as seamless as possible. And I really like this tool, so I'm going to put here that I'm going to ask Sheaf. What? Sorry if I misspelled your name. Wait, sorry. There we go. I think that's right. Friend, I've known Sheaf for 10 years. And so now that I've entered the details, it's asking me, I have two options. I can just have it send an email to Kashif saying, hey, Kashif, I'm doing a clemency process. Would you please write me a reference letter? Or I can take it a step further to make his life easier and use this option, the AI generated one. So I have some pre-written prompts that I'm going to put in here, but let's say it says, how long have you known them and how did you meet? 10 years. We did weightlifting together. And worked at a shelter. Okay. Then it's asking what positive changes has Kashif seen in me? So you can answer this with as little information or a lot if you want. I just pre-written this so it looks a little bit realistic. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to paste these in without fully reading them, but it works even if you put very little information. But the more information you put, the stronger your case is going to be. So. Oops. All right, so I've answered these 5 questions, which are: what positive changes have they witnessed in you since your conviction? What personal qualities should they emphasize about your character? What examples of your growth or positive contributions can they share? How have you supported them or others in ways they could mention? And by the way, I'm going to go about another 5 minutes through the demo. And even if I don't finish everything, I'm going to stop because I really want to make enough time for Q&A. So now it's generated this template for me. Dear honorable members of the Clemency Board, I'm writing to you on behalf of Nate Smith, who had the privilege of knowing for the past 10 years. Our friendship began when we met at a local gym, where we both shared a passion for weightlifting and quickly extended to our collaborative efforts at a community shelter. Over the years, I've witnessed Nate's profound personal growth and transformation, and I'm honored to support his application for clemency. So this doesn't use a template. It uses the AI model to take what you've written and then based on the way that you need to write. So if you went to a lawyer or someone that tell you to write like this. So now I want to get this over to Kashif so you could sign it as quickly as possible. So right now, it's opened my email. And you see here, it's pre-populated my email with an email to Kashif with a link in it. And it's explaining to him, hey, there's a letter here. I hope, you can do this for me. And if I go to this link, just to make life easy for Kashif, here's the letter. If he needs to make changes, he can change it in the browser. If he's good with it, he can put his info. I don't know what your signature is, Kashif, so pardon the slop, but confirm, sign document. And then when I go back to my platform here, and I refresh my page, I can see here, Kashif has completed this. So the same concept is going to go for the employment, the documents. It'll help you write a statement. And by the end of this process, it'll prepare for you your whole file on your clemency case, provided you've uploaded all the required documents that you can then hand over to an organization, a lawyer, or someone to look at to review. All right, let's see what we have, what we can do in the next 4 minutes. I'm going to show you this workspaces. So this is how we're thinking about creating a space for you to collaborate. And I know some of the feedback to the Menti forum was better collaboration. So you don't have to work in a silo. If you were working on a campaign, let's say if it's for reducing harm and overdoses in Kansas or something like that, you could come create a space reduction of harm and overdoses. And now this space, you could work on it and create campaigns. So let's say you wanted to create a specific campaign. I have no idea what this would be, so I'm just going to make this up. Awareness on body issues. And you can tag it with like a state. Kansas. So you can find it later. Create the campaign. And then now this is my space that I could invite others to this workspace. And in here, any like policy analysis that we've done will be in there, any forms that we've created. And I can take it a step further. So I click this planning and I can describe what the campaign is that I want to create. So I want to gather support for health reforms to reduce harmful impacts of opioids. Let's do a spell check on myself. And now I want to ask it to build the campaign for me. And again, you're looking at the worst version of this platform because we're going to keep improving it together. So your feedback is going to help transform this from a this is cool to, oh, this actually works. I just 10x what I can do. So let's see the plan it generated. So this is what it's recommending I do. So it's telling me I should conduct a survey and interview with healthcare professionals. If I like what it says, I can leave that check mark, or I can uncheck it if I don't want it to be part of my plan. Review literature and case studies, compile data on opioid usage, host a strategy workshop, draft messaging, framework for public outreach. It's giving me other things, launch a social media campaign, organize community events, schedule a meeting with policyholders, etc., etc. So let's just say I like all of them. So I select them all, create tasks, and then now when I go to my activities folder, they're all here. I can assign them to a teammate. I can add notes to them. And this isn't implemented, but there are certain tasks that AI can do. Then you'll be able to have it start doing it in here instead of having to jump into ChatGPT, copy and paste, and everyone on the team will be able to see it. So that's the workspaces and campaign builder. And then the last two I'm going to show just really quick are just concepts. It's the impact network. We got a lot of feedback that people work in silos, but there are also a lot of organizations doing the exact same thing at the exact same time. And they're not sharing their know-how, not because they don't want to, because it's just not easy, too much friction. So the concept here is when organizations join 51, they'll be able to make their profile public and what the work their causes they're working on to be able to be crawled, or you could see what people are working on. Then the platform will intelligently see that you're trying to work on a healthcare initiative, and it'll flag like, hey, this other organization is also working on it, and allow you to do a connection request. And then if they connect with you and you want to collaborate, or even if it's just sharing best practices, you'll be able to do it through the platform. The other thing that Dream was keen for us to build, because there's so much resources, is this learning paths. So we'll take a lot of the information that Dream has built and knowledge about how to do and best practices, and we'll be able to build coursework like this to guide you. So if I can go to like grassroots digital organization, click start. There's no real content in here yet, but in theory, you'd be able to watch a video, do an exercise, access resources. Then you click that and you get a little star next to your thing that you've completed this skill, and hopefully you could put it into use. Oh my God, there's so much more, but I think I've overloaded everyone. So I'm just going to stop right there, and I'm going to shut up, and I want to hear from everyone your thoughts, questions, reactions on this. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't already signed up, once you go to the website, if you're an Empathy Network member, just use the reference code empathy. And if you're a part of the Dream team, use Dream. So that's enough from me. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts and reactions.
I was really impressed when you did the questionnaire form, and instead of giving you everybody's specific answer, on the one questionnaire you did, it
Mhm.
generalized the whole thing. And I raised my hand to ask if that is what it was doing. So is that what it was doing with generalizing the
Yes.
questionnaire? That was amazing.
Yeah.
Having to read through maybe 200 responses potentially or something like that to be able to put it into something that okay, this is what's going on. I thought that was great.
It's programmed to be, if I had someone to help me analyze this and I told them, please give me the highlights of it, how would you explain it? That's how it was designed to.
Nice.
Is that something you think you would use? Like,
Oh, definitely, definitely.
All right, Wael, we've got a couple questions in the Q&A box. Someone asked, how do people who get involved know the information they see is verified? Or maybe they're asking about citations.
yeah, so in the policy, we do have a citation. I didn't have a chance to show it, but in the platform, there's something we call a transparency box. So it'll tell you where we got the data from, how we use the information, and any limitations to the data that would make it inaccurate, so that you're fully informed of what you're getting. So that's going to be implemented in every single feature we use. And then what we're trying to do is to build our own data set. So we're not just letting it crawl everything on the internet, but it's not going to be 100%, but at least you have full awareness to make a judgment of if the information is correct or not.
Awesome. And then another individual asked, do organizations need to continually update their material that is shown on the platform, or is AI gathering and updating information via info that is available on the web already?
I think if you're asking, like, if you put in like I want to monitor AI and data center environmental issues, there's a tool that'll go and it'll search the web and periodically update and provide you information. If it's information about the organization, there's a knowledge base that'll be implemented where you can put your, let's say, Dream, you can put your org docs on there and it'll use it to guide the answers that it gives you. So if you have specific ways you do things. I don't know if I've answered that accurately. If not, whoever asked it, let me know.
Great. Somebody is looking to connect with y'all. So Jeremy from Pittsburgh, if you want to drop your contact in the chat, maybe one of the folks from 51 AI can connect with you afterwards.
And my email's on the screen as well on the bottom.
Okay,
So
great.
if anyone wants to talk to us, let me know.
Allison says, I'm on the website and have signed up. However, I only see smart forms under beta and impact network and learning paths under experimental features.
Over the next week, we'll start opening it up so you'll see everything. I should have made that clear. So right now, today, depending on if you've used Dream or Empathy, it'll show you maybe slightly different access. But over the next week, by probably midweek, we'll start rolling out more things for you to test. And Harrison, sorry, I forgot to review one very important thing, and I just want to do it real quick, not to interrupt the questions, but this was probably the most important thing I needed from all of you, please, and I'm asking is this feedback button. If you have any feedback, you can come here, click the feedback button, or if you push F on the keyboard and you click new feedback, you can just give us your feedback. No feedback is too small or unimportant, and you can also search if other people have given their feedback and then comment on theirs if you're having a similar issue or you have other things. Okay, sorry, Harrison, I just forgot that.
No, that's it from the question and answer box. I see Shauna asked whether this could be used to create testimony for committee hearings or speeches for lobbying efforts.
Excellent idea. Shona, please go in the feedback and explain to me how you'd like it to work. And within 1 or 2 weeks, you'll see it there as an experimental feature. Our plan is to drop an update at a minimum every other week. And if we have the resources to do it faster than that, we will. But I'm also going to make a note of Shona's request.
All right. Any other questions? Maybe comments too, how this would impact your work?
Encouragement. We've had a lot of long nights where this crashed and we were about to give up. So
I just think it's amazing how I can put together like a whole campaign at one time, given the inputs and the way it did the letter. Because I have a couple homeboys that are doing life that I communicate with, and I've written letters, and a couple of them got out. And I'm always like, you know, when you get out, if you're going to do positive, I'm going to try to help you. If you're not, da da da. But the letter that it put out for you was the type of letter that somebody would want. You know, all those variables. What have you done? What's the good that you did? What's your routine? All the right questions were asked, and it just generated it in the blink of an eye. And I thought that was really amazing to write a quality advocacy letter that fast.
Yeah. So, wow, if you don't mind if I chime in,
please do.
when we were developing the clemency tool, it was based on clemency work that I've done in the past. So we trained it on that work, and it's reflective of clemency petition packets that have been successful in the past. So anyone that uses the tool, they're using that same rubric that has seen success at the state and federal level. And, you know, we feel really good about folks being able to use that and it getting better as you use it moving forward.
Yeah, and what I saw was that like for me, the clemency is one thing, but in addition to clemency, anybody like in California, when you have a life sentence, you have to go before a board. In a lot of states, you have to go before a parole board to get out. And I see that function is interchangeable because of how well the clemency letters wrote. Some of those same variables go with trying to get somebody with a life sentence out, or somebody who's back on appeal in the feds. And you know, in the feds on appeal, the judge had the opportunity to say yay or nay, even if the law is in your favor. And so I just that alone is just amazing. That's going to help free and get out so many good people.
Thank you, Robert, for that. Thank you.
Allison, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I just want to say this is such I'm really excited to get in here and practice and give feedback because in our work as advocacy, it can encompass we're working on laws we're helping people behind the walls with pardons, or even like another thing I thought of which I can submit, but since we have Justin on here as the civil rights, a lot of inside stuff is like 1983 claims of 8th Amendment violations, 14th Amendment. We see a lot of abuse on the inside, and we have like what we call prison lawyers on the jailhouse lawyers that really help, but it's hard with paperwork pushing. So it's another tool that is very much needed for loved ones and advocates. So I know I didn't see that, I'll submit that, but just even like legal stuff that they can have in there besides clemency and pardons and things like that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Awesome. And then Chief just flagged there's one more question. I'm curious about sharing within the platform. If you are collaborating with a team on a project or campaign, do you invite others to join your space so they can see what you are working on and collaborate with you there?
So the way it's currently designed is there's 2 levels of invitation. You have your space, so you can invite people in your space, and we're envisioning that might be teammates you work with day to day, and they could see everything you're doing in that space. So if you're working on 4 or 5 campaigns, they'll be able to see everything. The other level is you can invite someone just to a specific campaign. So if you had a space on prison reform, and in there you had a specific campaign on Rikers Island, You can also invite someone just to work with you on that campaign, and they can't see the rest of your work. But if you have ideas on how it could work different or be more practical, please let us know.
No, I just think that that's pretty cool. And then right away, I think about integrations with other platforms related to like tasks and task management, right? But it's amazing. While I'm super impressed and excited for you. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Cricket. And we have Asana on our
Yeah, I was
list.
just gonna point that out for Cricket. Cricket's favorite tool.
Look, Cricket, I actually DM'd Jessica. I thought that was her that asked, but what's funny is you're right below her on the screen. I could have guessed you as well.
That's funny. I was the other anonymous one too. I don't know why I clicked that, but the other two other anonymous questions. Super cool.
Awesome.
Good stuff. Good.
Yeah, well, great job, team. I think one other point which Justin was talking about in terms of the clemency tool, which I just want to continue to reiterate the need for feedback in this moment. You know, Justin spoke to successful basically the tool being trained, right? Being trained by successful clemency letters, for lack of better words, right? So just feedback, training, and this is the moment that this team that we're all in. So you all jumping in there, you can't break it. Providing as much feedback as you can is only going to make this stronger, and it's only going to speed up the pace of which it can really support you in your work. So just wanted to reiterate that. And I think we really got a springboard here to leap from. So great job, 51 AI team.
Thank you. As they say, teamwork makes the dream work. So we couldn't have done it without you.
Pun intended.
Yes. All right. Well, anyone needs to reach me, my email is with Kashif. It's on the screen. I'm happy to do one-on-ones. I'd love to talk to you all in more detail as well.
Awesome. Well, I think we can adjourn. Thanks everybody for joining, especially if you are a part of our empathy network. It's great to see some colleagues on here as well. But on behalf of myself and the dream.org team, hope you have a beautiful night.
Thank you.
Peace.
You all.
Take care, everybody.
Good stuff.